Long gone are the days of waiting to be seen in a doctor's office only to have that awkward conversation with your healthcare provider. Wisp gives you access to sexual and reproductive healthcare from the comfort of your home. Get treatment for BV, yeast infections, UTIs, and much more delivered directly to your home or ready for pickup at your local pharmacy in less than 3 hours. The best part? Wisp is discreet, convenient, and you don't need medical insurance to receive care or prescription medication. Visit us today at hellowisp.com.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Quick Drag, where I talk to my friend Lauri Roggenkamp and tell her what is going on the latest season of RuPaul's Drag Race. This time we're talking about All Stars 10, Episode 2. I'll be honest with you. I already called her. I'm recording this after. And before we get into that, I want to apologize for Episode 1. And I want to explain, it's not Lauri's fault. Before I called her, I said, listen, I'm going to be calling you. And she said, okay, but I'm making a lot of noise. And I said, no problem. Because when we record, usually, it comes out on she comes out on a different track. And so I can eliminate the noise. And what I failed to take into consideration is that when I call her on the phone remotely from my mixer, from my soundboard, it comes on my track. I couldn't remove the noise. And, a number of you reached out to me and told me it was really annoying. So I promise you on this episode, she's driving, but there's no noise other than that. She's not doing other things. And it's just a literal phone call. Before we do that, once again, a plug, patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. You can join as a free member. And as a free member, you still get a lot as a free member. Live shows, access to hundreds of hours of free shows, lots going on the free side over at patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia. But then as a paid member, you get the show early, complete, unedited, with the complete episode, no commercials, sooner than the public feed for a lot of the shows, and all kinds of content. And the higher you go, the more content and access you get just between us girls at the executive tier. So once again, it's the patreon.com/afterthoughtmedia plug. And one more plug also for Apple Podcasts. If you don't want to deal with Patreon, you can do that right there. I think it's around $6 something a month. And you get Just Between Us Girls and the full unedited episodes of Drag Race Recap. So that's the plug. And now we're going to go right into the phone call I had with Lauri, where I tell her what happened on Episode 2 of All Stars 10, RuPaul's Drag Race. I said that in a Yoda-ish way, but you guys get it.
Hello.
Hey. So, I have something to tell you.
Oh, okay. What?
After the lip sync, all the girls that we talked about last time, they go back to the workroom. And they then I don't even remember this, but I told you that at the end of the episode, RuPaul's like, "Oh, there's 4 points."
Yeah, and they can't keep it for themselves.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They have to give it to somebody else.
So then they go back, and the top 2 aren't there, and they're like, "Who are we going to give these points to?" Right? And they're like, "Oh, I don't know who we're going to give these points to." And then Olivia Lux, the one that used to act like a baby, she's like, "I'm going to give it my point to Aja, one of the girls who won, because she's my sister." But then everyone's like, "What?" So then they just landed up giving it to each other, which kind of just cancels the whole thing out, right?
But wasn't that the point of the thing? Was to give it to each other?
No, they could have given it to one of the people that won, or they could have given a bunch of them. Maybe they could have said, "Oh, well, for instance, Bosco, who was one of the people in the bottom 4, she was in the top 3 actually." They could have been like, "Oh, we're going to give all your points to you because you were almost." They could have done that, Oh,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they just gave it to each other, trying to cancel it out. And then the next day, they all come in. They're still talking about the fucking points. And then RuPaul comes in. They do this mini challenge, which I thought was a fun mini challenge. But they bring in the pit crew. This is actually kind of fun. They bring in the pit crew. Yeah, they bring in the pit crew. And then they have these like softballs. Okay. And the girls have to like rub the they put the softball, like, how do you explain this on the air? The girls stand face to face with a pit crew, each one with a pit crew member. And they're pressing the softball up against each other on their chest. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then they can't use their hands, using only their bodies, rub the softball up until it gets to their lips.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, it was hard actually, but it was kind of sexy. So they did 2 rounds. Phoenix and Irene won each of their rounds, and then Phoenix and Irene went head to head, and then Irene won the whole thing. Okay, Irene the alien, and then RuPaul, and you're gonna like this. RuPaul announced the Maxi Challenge. It was an improv challenge, an improv acting, one of those sketches. Yeah, and it was called Murder on the Dance Floor. Okay. And they were going to each play like a character. That's all we know. But RuPaul, Michelle, and Carson were going to be in the episode too. We're going to be in the sketch too. Okay, well, we learned that. Okay. So then they go to the workroom, and then they always do that thing where they're like, "Oh, I want this role." And there was no drama. They all got the roles that they wanted. The only drama, was later when they were working on their roles, and I totally still don't understand what happened, right? I still don't totally understand what happened, but like Bosco, who's the trans girl from Seattle, and Olivia, who's the one that acts like a baby, they kind of like start joking around fighting, but then it turns into a real fight, and Olivia's like mad at her and like, don't talk to me that way. And
didn't this happen last episode too with 2 queens?
No, but
they were like joke fighting.
Yeah, but they actually, so far at least, Aja and Irene, they've become like friends. And I guess they just stayed joke fighting. Okay. Yeah, they're now good friends. And then they do the Maxi Challenge. Okay, and RuPaul. Did you ever see any of these Agatha Christie movies with Kenneth Branagh where he plays Hercule Poirot?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I've seen all of them.
Yeah, so then RuPaul, she's like Inspector Poussey. Okay. That's her name. And then have they done 3? They did, going back to this, did they do Death on the Nile?
They did Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, and then I can't remember the last one. The Haunted House one. Yeah. With Tina Fey. Yeah, it's like a Russian woman or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, anyway. So, RuPaul is
I like him.
Some Inspector Poussey, and then Michelle Visage plays some sort of trashy. She's the hairdresser.
Now, does RuPaul have a mustache in this, or does she? Okay.
He's in boy clothes, mustache. And then Carson Kresge's just like the ship captain or something like that. I don't know what it is, right? And then they each play their characters, and it's a very simple story. It's Aja plays both twins, and one of the twins is dead. Okay? I'm not going to get into super details. There are all these dumb jokes in there. And then they own like a gumbo company or something that's successful. And so then they have to interview all the people on the boat who could have killed the twin. And then I'll say this. Bosco and Irene did the best. Aja was pretty good. Phoenix was terrible. I thought Olivia was terrible. And Deja Sky, I didn't think was very good at all either. But Aja was okay.
Wasn't Deja Sky the one who won the snatch game?
Yeah.
And when everyone was terrible, and she thought that meant that she was like a comedy queen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I will say she was already kind of like setting it up that she would like maybe be terrible, because she was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be good, because in her character is a hit on RuPaul. She's like, I don't know if I can do that. It's so intimidating. And then the next day,
I could see that. I could see that being intimidating. That's a lot.
I don't know. I think
it's RuPaul.
You are the improv queen, so
yeah, that's me.
So then the next day, they did. They were doing getting ready for the runway, and everybody felt good about their performance for the most part, except Deja. She thought she did terribly. She starts fucking crying that she's not good at anything, and she always has this like imposter syndrome. And everyone's like, "Oh no, you're good, right?" Meanwhile, I was like,
"Is it imposter syndrome when you're genuinely not good at things?"
That's what I felt too. Yeah, I was like, not sad at all. And then we learned that Olivia, she reveals. I don't know why this didn't show this, but Olivia reveals that she and Bosco apologized to each other, and they show it to us. They show us that they apologized to each other, and then it turns out, Olivia and Deja, Olivia and Aja talk about their alliances and stuff. Anyway, and when Aja makes an alliance with Irene, and then she starts talking about how she has different alliances. So her good Judy Olivia, that's the best alliance. Then she has one with Deja for I don't know what reason, and now she has one with Irene. I don't know. It's really weird.
Do they know how alliances work? Do they?
I think Aja and Olivia, they have an alliance with Deja. I think they just want her extra point if she gives it. I don't think they really think she's good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Then on the main stage, we have RuPaul, Michelle, Carson Kressley, and Colbin Domingo, which I didn't know he was in the Big K sketch show. I didn't know he was an actor like that.
Oh, I don't remember him from that. I knew he looked familiar.
And then
real quick, did you ever hear about how he met his husband?
No. How?
Okay, real quick. And I'm going to butcher the story, but essentially they meet in passing. It's like strangers walking past each other, right? Mm-hmm. And they catch each other's eye, but something happens and they can't introduce themselves. So he is like, I'm just going to throw this on Craigslist and be like,
were
you this? Yeah. Were you one of those? Were you this person? And the guy reaches out.
Oh.
And he finds it on Craigslist.
That's how you and I met.
And I was like, oh, geez, that's crazy. And then they went on a date, and then like pretty soon after that, they moved in together. So,
but that's how you and I met. I was at a Wendy's.
Yes.
And I saw you at the baked potato bar, and I went.
Yeah.
What's funny, I didn't even go on Craigslist. I just went on a random. No. I just went to a random fast food restaurant. Not even that Wendy's. I think it was like an Arby's or something.
Yeah.
And I was my plan was to go to every fast food place and just go in and shout Lauri, right?
Yeah.
I just guessed that's what your name was. And the first one I went to, you were like, yes. And that's how we became friends.
Like, that's me.
Yeah. And on our first date, we went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. And then they did the runway, and the runway was coming and going. So you had to have like an outfit that looked one way, and then when you turned around, it had like a different look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was cute.
How were those? Were they good or were they?
They were pretty good. And then back on the that's my extent of it. You just got the longest extent of my runway critiques. And then on the main stage, the top two all-stars were Irene the Alien and Bosco because they did the best. And which, by the way, remember they're good Judys. They're like sisters. They're not just, they're not officially drag sisters, but they started together. They've known each other for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And they did a lip sync. They lip synced to "Murder on the Dance Floor," and Bosco won. And then now she has all her points, and I think it's tied now. I think it's like Bosco has 3, Irene has 4, and Aja has 4. That's where the standing is right now. And everybody
did they give each other?
We're gonna
now. Did they all get points again?
Yeah, but we're gonna find out who they go to next episode.
Now, what you had said that there was going to be another set of 6, or is there another set of 6 coming in? Or
so next episode is the last of this round. So we find out who the top 3 are from this round, and they're going to go to the semifinals. And then it's going to be a whole new group of 6 girls.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, Lauri. Well, that's this episode. I'll call you next time.
Well, that was quick.
It was quicker. Robert complained. He thought, I thought it was supposed to be quick drag. Actually, it's about the same. It's about the same amount of time, to be honest with you.